A major shakeup at Canada's largest school board. The Toronto District School Board's Director of Education has been removed from his position just months after the Ford government appointed a supervisor to manage the board. Good afternoon. Clayton Touche is out as the head of the TDSB less than a year after taking the helm.
The government appointed supervisor saying he feels the board needs a fresh start, and the decision to make a leadership change was made with the Minister of Education. CTV's Janice Golding has been following this story and joins us now with more. Janice.
Hi, Nathan. As you mentioned, a supervisor appointed by the province has fired the TDSB's Director of Education, sending out a memo to staff today saying that the board needs, quote, a fresh start. Now, the memo goes on to say that Clayton Touche, who had only been in the role of Director of Education since February, is leaving effective immediately. In the meantime, the TDSB's Associate Director, Stacey Zucker, will serve as Interim Director of Education. Rohit Gupta said that after 6 months supervising the board, he felt, quote, that the TDSB needs a fresh start as we look to set the TDSB up for success in the years ahead. He added that he and the Minister of Education had made the difficult decision to make a leadership change. Meanwhile, Education Minister Paul Calandra, who has put 6 school boards under provincial control, said he had, quote, full confidence that the supervisor working with the interim director will ensure every decision puts students first as they refocus on student achievement. Calandra took over the TDSB in June, citing financial reasons, alleging the board had rejected nearly half of any cost-saving measures management had recommended over the last 2 years.
Once again, you have the government, the Minister of Education, who's appointed a conservative insider with no education experience at all as a supervisor, and now putting them in as interim director of education. I think parents are going to have some big concerns about that. We believe, and the legislation has been there for years, saying that the director of education should be an educator. That's the #1 responsibility. So I'm really concerned about it, honestly. And I think it's, again, the government politicizing decisions at our school boards.
Now, Calandra says he will be making other announcements regarding board governance in the new year with a specific eye on board trustees. Critics, meanwhile, say that eroding or removing trustees erodes parents and community voices. Reporting live from Janice Golding. Now back to Nathan.
Thank you, Janice. Just ahead, a GTA PM, or MP makes that, announces he's leaving the Conservatives and crossing the floor to the Liberals. Find out why Michael Moss says he made the jump and what it means as the Liberals get 1 seat closer to a majority.
But first, a 19-year-old man who allegedly stabbed a family member is dead after being shot by police in Mississauga yesterday afternoon.
The problem is police watchdog has now taken over the investigation. They say an officer fired their weapon after an interaction with the stabbing suspect inside a home. CTV's Mike Walker reports.
A heavy police presence at a Mississauga home this afternoon where a Peel Regional Police officer shot and killed a 19-year-old man who allegedly stabbed a family member, prompting the province's police watchdog to invoke its mandate.
Ensure that there's no criminal wrongdoing involving police.
The stabbing happened at a home in the Winston Churchill Boulevard and Britannia Road area around 2:30 this afternoon. The Special Investigations Unit says the victim, a 39-year-old man, went to a neighbor's house for help. When officers arrived, they learned the suspect was still inside the victim's home. The SIU says tactical and canine officers attempted to negotiate with the suspect before he was shot.
The police indicate that there was an interaction involving the edged weapon. There was a taser that was deployed, and that following that, there was an officer who shot the man. That man was taken to hospital where he was pronounced deceased.
The SIU says its investigators are still trying to confirm if the suspect was armed with an edged weapon. It's also not clear how long officers were negotiating with the suspect.
I do know that there is body-worn camera footage. However, it'll take some time for the SIU to gather that footage and review it.
At this point, police and the SIU have not said what led to the stabbing. The victim remains in hospital, their condition unknown at this time. The stabbing has left neighbors reeling.
I've been here for 14 years, and never, ever in those 14 years we've seen something like that. Pretty much no police action here.
Shocking to hear such news because I don't think anything like that has happened here before. Most of us here have young families, young children.
Investigators have not confirmed the relationship between the suspect and victim. The SIU adds there is no threat to public safety. Mike Walker, CTV News.
An arrest has been made in a stabbing on the Danforth earlier this week. Officers say the victim was approached by a man just after 2 p.m. Wednesday near Danforth in Maine. It's reported there was a brief verbal interaction and the victim was stabbed. His injuries are non-life-threatening. 36-year-old Rodwin Johnson was arrested today and is facing several charges, including assault causing bodily harm and breach of probation. Dozens of arrests and hundreds of charges laid in a gun and drug investigation in the GTA.
Officers releasing the results of Project Hydrogen this morning, seizing more than $2.7 million worth of illegal drugs. CTV's John Musselman joins us live with the latest on the investigation. John.
Well, Nathan, they had a news conference this morning, and we'll show you some video now. They showed some of the drugs and weapons that were confiscated here, as well as some cash. As you mentioned, more than $2.7 million in drugs. We're talking about methamphetamines, cocaine, and fentanyl. Also, as well, weapons. At least 6 guns they know of that were brought into our country illegally from the Detroit area. Now, police also told us that this is the work of a gang known as 44 that operates in the GTA and surrounding area. We had a chance to speak to police at the news conference. Here's what they had to tell us just a short time ago.
These drugs cause countless deaths across the province every single day. Our officers are working tirelessly to combat gun violence and have already made significant strides in reducing the number of illegal firearms in circulation. Through enhanced patrols, community partnerships, and targeted enforcement operations, we are making our streets safer one day at a time. Getting illegal firearms off our streets is absolutely critical to protecting the safety and well-being of our communities.
Project Hydrogen led to the seizure of 10 firearms. So far, 4 of them have been traced back to Detroit, where they were stolen. Investigators are working to determine the origin of the remaining firearms. The project also led to the seizure of approximately 18 kilograms of cocaine, 2 kilograms of fentanyl, 6 kilograms of methamphetamine, 1 kilogram of MDMA, 3,000 hydromorphone pills, and more than 200,000 in Canadian currency.
And police went on to say how important it is to remove drugs like this from the street. 34 people have been accused in this case, and we're being told most of the ages are between 20 and 30. Reporting live in Whitby, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. A GTA lawyer facing charges in connection with an alleged international drug kingpin is back in court for a bail hearing.
Deepak Paradkar is trying to convince a judge he should be released. CTV's Sean Leathong has the latest from the courts.
Her husband is accused of helping alleged drug kingpin Ryan Wedding, of advising him to kill a potential witness. Today, Mandy Paradkar, wife of Deepak Paradkar, was on the stand offering $2.5 million as surety if her husband is granted bail. 62-year-old Paradkar, a prominent defense lawyer in the GTA, was arrested last month as one of several Canadians accused of helping Wedding. Paradkar is specifically accused of advising Wedding to kill a potential witness, and soon after, that witness was killed. Paradkar has been in custody at the Toronto South Detention Centre since his arrest and is awaiting possible extradition to the United States. Yesterday, Paradkar took the stand himself at the bail hearing, pledging to remain on house arrest if released. Today, he sat in the prisoner's box while his wife was questioned about the couple's finances and assets. Court heard how Paradkar is accused of taking large cash drops and expensive watches as payment, also using other lawyers to help him. As Crown Attorney Milika Petrovic asked Mandy Paradkar how much she knew, saying, "You're aware that this organization is alleged to kill anyone who gets in their way?" "Yes," says Paradkar, adding, "It doesn't interfere with my responsibility to the court." The Crown going on to say, "It's fair that you had nothing to do with the allegations out of the United States?" "No, I did not," says Paradkar. "The first time you heard about this was after your husband's arrest?" "That's correct." "He's never told you that he received watches as gifts from his clients?" "No." Deepak Paradkar faced the floor during many of the more difficult questions, including when the Crown asked, "If it's true that your husband was providing legal advice to a criminal organization to have people murdered, if it's true that he was advising this criminal organization, if it's true that he was paying lawyers to assist him, if it's true that he took cash drops, if it's true that he received luxurious watches as gifts, if it's true, that would deeply affect your trust in your husband," to which his wife said, "Yes, it would." The FBI announced the arrest on November 20th, alleging that Paradkar was key in Wedding's operation, which trafficked drugs from Colombia through Mexico into the United States and Canada. The FBI alleges some of Pradkar's aliases are Cocaine Lawyer and Deepaj Emergency, and says his involvement goes back as far as 2011. Pradkar's law license was suspended last week. Ryan Wedding remains at large and is believed to be protected by the Sinaloa cartel. Court heard final submissions by both the Crown and defense at the bail hearing this afternoon. Much of the time, the hearing was done in private to protect sensitive information. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
3 men accused in the 2023 death of an Owen Sound restaurant owner have been extradited to Canada and are expected to appear in court today. 25-year-old Robert Evans Jr. is charged with manslaughter, while his father and uncle have been charged with accessory after the fact for helping him flee the country. Evans Jr. is accused of striking 44-year-old Sharif Rahman outside his restaurant in August of 2023. Rahman later died in hospital. The dispute allegedly took place over an unpaid bill. Police say the suspects were arrested in Scotland in late 2024 and agreed to be extradited earlier this year. Rahman was 44, and he's survived by his wife and daughter. After a tough week for commuters on the new Finch West LRT line, there's some good news for East End transit riders this morning.
Mayor Olivia Chow announcing construction on the planned Scarborough busway will be accelerated and completed by next fall. CTV's Allison Hurst was at the mayor's announcement this morning. She joins us live from Scarborough with all the details. Allison.
Michelle, yes, that's exactly right. That corridor, which is expected to be finished in 2027, is now going to be done much earlier. The mayor saying that it's going to be done in September of next year. The Scarborough busway was originally slated for completion in 2027, as I mentioned, but now it's going to be ready several months early. It will operate along a 4-kilometer area of the former Line 3 right-of-way, following the general route of the former Scarborough RT. That was decommissioned back in 2023 after it derailed with riders on board, but no serious injuries. Here's more from the mayor and the CEO of the TTC.
Not sharing the road, but it has its own separate bus lane. So buses won't sit in traffic and they'll move faster. A trip from Scarborough Centre Station to Kennedy Station will take 15 minutes only, saving riders valuable time each day.
We looked at what we could do more effectively by working additional shifts, by putting the low-risk works onto the later shifts and high-risk works more in parallel. That saved time, saved hours, saved days, coupled with additional shifts. In parallel to that, we ordered all the materials, all the long lead items earlier, and that would give us the traction to give us a timeline. So the risk, we've de-risked the delivery times, we've de-risked the resources, we've got more resources, and we're doing more activities in parallel.
And that was the TTC CEO just sort of outlining exactly how they were able to accelerate their construction of this project, which again is now expected to open in September 2026. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Michelle, back to you.
Thanks, Allison.
We have more news in a moment, but first a look at the forecast. Here's a live look at the city this afternoon. It does look nice out there, but it is chilly. Temperatures are rising a little bit, and we could see some flurries this weekend. There's a chance. Lindsay Morrison has a look at the current conditions. Hey, Lindsay.
Because it is not as extremely cold as it was yesterday, and we're getting a little bit of a break from the active weather, but both of those things are going to return this weekend. Right now it is -1 degree. It feels like -8 though once you take these winds into consideration, so still bundle up as you head outside. Winds are coming out of the west. They're not overly strong, but sustained close to 30 kilometers per hour, and we continue to see a little bit of lake effect snow off Georgian Bay. There is still an alert in place for the communities that you see here. 10 to 20 centimeters of additional snowfall will impact very isolated, localized areas. It's been a snowy couple of days in the snow belts, and more snow is on the way for this weekend. But here's today at a glance in Toronto. Forecast daytime high 0. We'll talk about when we have the potential for a little bit of light snow coming up. For now, though, Nathan, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. A firm no this morning from the Premier on selling the province's $80 million inventory of U.S. booze and giving the money to food banks. A few days ago, Doug Ford said he needed to talk to the LCBO about the idea.
Well, we aren't going to do that. This is President Trump that's trying to attack our economy. He's trying to take jobs. And really, the wine industry in Ontario has seen a 79% increase. This is helping Ontario with jobs and people with jobs. And until he makes a deal, a fair deal for Canada and Ontario, the answer is absolutely not. So we want to protect Ontario jobs. And Donald Trump's trying to take every job he possibly can off us, and I'll never stop fighting for the people of Ontario.
Manitoba, PEI, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland and Labrador have sold some of their surplus American alcohol for charity. Ontario has $2 million worth of stock about to expire.
It is the final day to claim a slice of the Loblaws $500 million bread price-fixing settlement. And CTV's Scott Hurst joins us live to tell us more about this. Scott, today is the deadline for shoppers to submit their claim in this class action. And no doubt many people watching right now are eligible for this. So what should they know about submitting those claims?
Michelle, good afternoon. Here's your chance at some dough, part of a $500 million settlement. It's your last call today, as you mentioned, to submit a claim for a share of the $500 million bread price-fixing settlement related to alleged industry-wide price fixing of packaged bread. So here's what consumers need to know. Anybody in Canada, Canadian residents, adults in this country can apply. No proof of purchase is necessary, so you don't need to stress about trying to find an old grocery receipt from many years ago. You're eligible if you bought packaged bread between 2001 and 2021. You just need to file an online claim. There is a separate claim process for Quebec residents as well. Now, this stems from accusations against Loblaw and its parent company of engaging in an industry-wide scheme to fix the price of bread, along with other big players in the industry who have denied involvement, ultimately, Michelle, impacting the price you and I paid for bread at the grocery store.
Now, the process, is it relatively quick? And also, what comes next for anyone? So you submit your claim. When can you expect to receive your dough?
The process to submit the claim appears relatively quick. You just go to the, just go to the website and fill out the form. You can expect to receive compensation between 6 months to a year. And according to the website, where you fill out the form, you should, payment will come into your bank account at some point next year, and it'll be made by Interac e-transfer or by check if you requested. Now, ultimately, the amount of compensation, the amount of money that you'll get back in your bank account will depend on the number of claims. Now, the big question, what comes next on the legal front? And the law firm at the center of the class action says it's still pushing for more accountability.
We've been litigating for 8 years. It's been very difficult. It's an expensive, protracted, slow process. But we did our best to hold Loblaw's feet to the fire. But to their credit, they came to the table. But the most important thing, in addition to the money, the other really important feature is that we're going to be getting information from Loblaw's in Q1 next year, which we hope will, let's just say, bolster our cases against the other alleged co-conspirators.
And Michelle, the other major Canadian grocers, including Metro, Sobeys, Walmart, Canada Bread, and Giant Tiger, were also accused of price fixing during the time period covered in the suit, but they have all denied involvement. But bottom line, when it comes to today, this is the deadline for Canadians to fill out the application to be part of the claim from the $500 million settlement.
Well, we appreciate the reminder. CTV's Scott Hurst live for us in the National Newsroom. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
To British Columbia, where flooding in the Fraser Valley is expected to peak today. Rainfall warnings are down, but forecasters say there could be another atmospheric river with a weather system Sunday, possibly bringing more flooding.
Adrenaline's pumping. I didn't sleep much at all. We're expecting waters to rise drastically.
You can see we're trying to get our cars out so we don't lose our cars.
Overflow from a river in Washington state is expected to peak today, and that is leaving BC residents waiting to see how they'll be affected. Flood warnings remain in effect for the region. Abbotsford is still under a state of emergency. Hundreds of properties are under evacuation orders, and 1,000 others are on alert.
The first phase of a high-speed rail network that will eventually allow passengers to travel from Toronto to Montreal in 3 hours was announced today.
This segment represents a unique opportunity to connect two provinces and quickly generate benefits for travelers, communities, and the economy. Now, why start with this part of the route? Because it is, for several reasons, the most logical option.
The trains will travel up to 300 kilometers per hour. This morning, the transport minister said the new Alto Rail project will connect Montreal and Ottawa first. The government says it chose that stretch in part because it's relatively straight and trains can't move as quickly on turns. Construction is scheduled to begin in 2029. Via rail routes between Quebec and Ontario will continue to operate once the project is built.
The House of Commons has risen for its winter break, and now the federal Liberals are just one seat short of a majority after a Markham Conservative MP crossed the floor last night. Let's bring in CTV's Jeremy Chiron live in Ottawa with the latest. So, Jeremy, this is big news. What is the fallout over this shift?
Yeah, well, Nathan, look, just when we thought the drama was over for this parliamentary sitting and we were going to wait till the new year for, the next chapter of this parliamentary sitting, boy, were we wrong. And we get a floor crossing after the House rises for the session. And Michael Ma becomes the newest Liberal MP and adds to the Liberal seat count in the House of Commons, up now to 171, just one seat shy of a majority. This is the second Conservative MP now to cross the floor. Of course, last month, it was Chris D'Entremont. Now it's Michael Ma. He is the MP for Markham Unionville, of course. He won that seat in the election by just shy of 2,000 votes, just a couple of percentage difference over the Liberal candidate in that riding. And of course, it's not just those two. There is Matt Genereux, who had been rumored to cross the floor as well, who eventually announced that he'll just be resigning entirely from politics at some point in the new year. So we now have basically three Conservative MPs that have either crossed the floor or announced that they'll be leaving the Conservative caucus. This, will pose challenges for the Conservative leader, of course. He has a leadership review late in January, and so there are questions about what all of this means for his approval ratings and what it will mean for the result of that leadership review. But then the big question is whether or not the Liberal Party returns to the House of Commons in January as a majority government or a minority government. I think we can expect both parties will be very busy over the holiday season. The phones are going to be ringing. The Liberal Party will be working hard to try and successfully, gain one more MP in a floor crossing in the hopes of getting that majority, which would help them push forward their agenda in the House of Commons, allow them to actually successfully push forward legislation, which they have struggled to do at times in this last session. Their budget implementation bill still has not passed through the House of Commons, which means it'll be delayed till January. And so, they'll be busy really trying to put the pressure on and see if they can get one more to cross the floor. While the Conservatives, of course, are going to be doing everything they can, Nathan, to ensure this does not happen again and that they don't see the Liberal government form a majority in a very unique way through several floor crossings.
For any politicians to cross the floor, it can be risky. Any idea how the Liberals are enticing these MPs to make this move?
Yeah, it's a great question, and this one happened very differently than the last one. Chris D'Entremont had been rumored to do so. There was a lot of talk in Ottawa. There were names swirling around, and by the time it was, announced and publicly reported, it was, it wasn't really much of a secret anymore. There had been much talk about it. This was very different. Michael Ma came as a big surprise to many. Prior to yesterday, nobody had really heard anything about this, and suddenly the Liberal Party puts out this press release with direct quotes from Michael Ma announcing that he'll be crossing the floor. So, to your point, it can be a very dangerous political move for an individual to do such thing. Now, it's important to look at the breakup of the voting in the last election, because if you look at the riding of Unionville, or Markham Unionville rather, it was a pretty close split when it comes to Liberal support and Conservative support. And so you have to think that goes into the decision a little bit in his statements that he posted online. He said that, he is supportive of the direction Prime Minister Mark Carney is going in and feels this is the best move he can make for his constituents at this point. But to your point, there is something to be said about the work the Liberal Party is doing behind the scenes, Nathan, to successfully be able to attract Conservative MPs. I think, it can't be overlooked that this is a Liberal Prime Minister that has shifted the party's stance closer to the center. Some have pointed out that many of the policies that this Prime Minister is putting forward are actually more right-of-center policies that many could imagine Conservative Prime Ministers putting forward. And so I think that has, of course, played a role in the Liberal Party successfully attracting some of these Conservative MPs that perhaps, you know, if you look at Michael Ma, he's a new MP, doesn't have any kind of historic ties to the party, likely doesn't feel a close bond with the leader or the party itself. This is a decision that appears to be, based on his statement, something he felt was just the best direction to go in for the people of Markham Unionville.
All right, the political drama, I guess we'll take a break for a few weeks. CTV's Jeremy Sharon in Ottawa, thank you.
Yeah, anytime.
Meanwhile, a political shakeup in PEI, Prince Edward Island, is getting a new premier. Rob Lance announced last night he is resigning to seek the official leadership of the province's progressive Conservatives. He has been interim party leader and premier since Dennis King stepped down in February. Lance says the decision wasn't a move he made lightly, but that he was listening to Islanders. Blois Thompson is now set to be sworn in as PEI's 35th premier.
Libraries across Canada say a proposed change in the federal budget bill would end their ability to ship books at reduced rates. Bill C-15 removes a clause in Canada Post legislation providing reduced postage rates for books and other materials mailed between libraries or to library users. Opponents say that would threaten interlibrary loan programs and possibly force the closure of rural facilities. Canada Post promised yesterday to maintain the program, but the Canadian Urban Libraries Council wants it to remain in legislation rather than repealed.
In the UK, King Charles will share details of his experience with cancer during a television message later today. The monarch will also give an update on his treatment 2 years after he announced he'd been diagnosed with an unspecified form of cancer. Buckingham Palace says the king will reflect on his own recovery journey. The message will also focus on the importance of cancer screening. It will be released as part of the broadcaster's Stand Up to Cancer campaign in partnership with the charity Cancer Research UK.
This may or may not come as a surprise after the season the Blue Jays had. The team has renewed the contract of President and CEO Mark Shapiro for 5 more years. Shapiro says the opportunity to lead the organization over the past 10 years has been incredibly fulfilling, and he's grateful and honored to be able to continue that work. The extension comes on the heels of the Blue Jays' first appearance in the World Series since 1993. Financial terms were not disclosed. Shapiro joined the Jays after the 2015 season. He spent 24 seasons with the Cleveland Guardians, including the last 5 years as team president.
Well, it has been a little bit of a temperature roller coaster this week, but today we are on the more seasonal side of things, so that's nice. We should enjoy that because cooler air is coming as we make our way through the weekend, especially Sunday. My goodness, both the daytime high and the overnight low going to be well below seasonal. And then we're going to get a little bit of a warm-up through the middle part of next week. We've also got another little burst of snow expected to move through tomorrow. We'll give you an idea of how many centimeters we could be in for. That's after this break here on CTV News at noon. Stay with us.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Well, happy Friday. We've got the sunshine, and while it is chilly out there, it could be so much colder, so I'd say this is pretty good.
Yeah, and there could be snow all over the place, but we're kind of spared from that, so, and plus the sun is out.
Today is a good day. Yeah. Things do change again as we make our way into the weekend, so a little bit of snow expected overnight tonight and through tomorrow morning. Then it tapers off. It's not going to impact your Saturday all day. Sunday, the big story, though, is going to be the cold. Once again, daytime high well below freezing, well below seasonal, and overnight lows in the minus teens. And it looks like we could swing the other way next week and get some mixed precipitation by about Wednesday. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm. Injury lawyers, you don't pay unless they win. There's been all kinds of snow this week in areas outside of the GTA. Of course, we all had that system snow, but then there was lake effect snow and snow squall activity. This is is video from the Clayton area. So communities downwind of Lake Huron really seeing the snow pile up. Middlesex County, Huron County, but also this part of Ontario, just to the south of Georgian Bay. And that's where we still find a snow squall warning in place, a yellow level alert in many areas, but also orange level warning. So moderate impact, high confidence as well. Here's what that looks like on the satellite and radar. Some communities, again, still seeing some light snow, but this is tapering off. We will say goodbye to the squalls, at least for temporarily, and then they will be back as we make our way into the weekend. So here's our disturbance for tomorrow morning. Widespread light snow around southern Ontario. Timing-wise, looks like it's going to move in the pre-dawn hours for tomorrow. That's about 5 a.m. Early risers will encounter this. It tapers off as the morning goes on. In fact, by about midday, we're done with that snow. However, lake effect bands begin to form once again off Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. A westerly wind means that some different communities are likely to be impacted at first. Then Sunday, more of a northwest tilt. We see perhaps another quick burst of flurries around the GTA for Sunday morning. And then Monday, there's the possibility of some light snow once again, which we'll get to that in just a moment. Maybe 2 centimeters of snow for your Saturday morning, and then an additional 1 centimeter into Sunday morning. But again, the snowbelt areas are going to see a lot more than that. It is -1 degree right now in the city of Toronto. It feels like -8. Our forecast high for today is 0. Not bad for this time of year, much closer to where we expect to be. Average temperature at this point in the season is about 2 degrees. Tonight, though, we're back down to about -5. -2 degrees for the high tomorrow, but it's not the afternoon high. The temperature is actually going to fall as we make our way through tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be another windy day in addition to that snow. Look at Sunday, -7 degrees for the high. That's it. Overnight low, -13. Some snow possible on Monday, and there's that mixed precip possible Wednesday with the high possibly up around 4 degrees. That's the weather for now. Michelle, I'll send it over to you.
It sounds so warm. Thank you, Lindsay. Researchers at North York General and the Hospital for Sick Children say there has been a dramatic rise in the number of Ontarians being prescribed medications for ADHD. The study looked at all prescriptions for stimulants drugs such as Ritalin and Adderall dispensed in the province between 2015 and 2023. Overall, it found annual prescriptions to treat ADHD were up by 157% in 2023 compared to 2015. They accelerated in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. Possible reasons include a surge in time online, increased public awareness, and the recognition of people who were previously undiagnosed.
Coming up, Disney doubles down on AI, the new investment that will allow fans to interact with their favorite characters. Disney's making a massive move into the world of artificial intelligence, announcing a $1 billion investment in OpenAI, which is the company behind ChatGPT and the viral video tool Sora. As part of the deal, OpenAI gets permission to use more than 200 iconic Disney, Marvel, Pixar, and Star Wars characters in AI-generated short videos. Fans will be able to create their own moments with these characters, and some of those clips could even make their way onto Disney+. It's a 3-year agreement, and it does not include actor likenesses or voices. This is strictly about the characters. Disney says the partnership helps them build new tech for storytelling while keeping creator rights and safety at the forefront.
There are major closures on the subway line 1 and 2 to keep in mind this weekend. On line 1, there will be no service between Osgood and College stations both Saturday and Sunday. This is for planned track work. And on line 2, there will be no service between Ossington and St. George stations, also for track work. In both cases, shuttle buses will operate instead, with service set to resume Monday morning. And GO train service will be disrupted on the Lakeshore West line this weekend for track work as well. There will be no train service between Burlington and Union Station Saturday and Sunday. Replacement buses will serve some stations in Oakville, Burlington, and Mississauga. This will take riders to Bramley-GO, where they can catch a train to Union Station. There will be no service at Appleby, Bronte, Port Credit, Long Branch, Mimico, or Exhibition. Metrolink says those customers are encouraged to take local transit.
Casa Loma's Holiday Lights Tour is back, transforming the castle into a festive winter wonderland.
The event includes creative decor and programming for visitors of all ages. And our Jessica Smith is live at Casa Loma for a look at the event. Jess, Casa Loma is gorgeous just on its own, but when it's all dolled up for the holidays, it's something else.
It really is so magical. There are singing reindeer, there are singing penguins, and obviously the big guy in red. But I want to bring in Katrina. You're here with Casa Loma every year. This is so much fun, but I feel like this year you got stuff for people during the day, you have things for people at night, and for something for everyone of all ages.
We do. I mean, welcome, first of all, to Christmas at the Castle. Casa Loma is the best place to come during the holidays. During the day, we have Christmas at the Castle, all kinds of programs inside the castle for kids. We've got the Jambo Brothers doing they're the Canada's semi-finalists in Canada's Got Talent, doing their acrobatic show. The nights before Christmas, dueling nights, some archery. We've got the aerialists, opera singers, all that decor, the fabulous designer trees that are in the 20-footer that's in our Great Hall. Come through the tunnels, see all that incredible decor that's been done by our amazing team and the talented Nadia Di Donato, and then you come in here to see the red guy. And it's so special, but that's not enough because school time is one thing, daytime is one thing, but in the holidays there's the nighttime. Nighttime's also a little bit more for grown-ups. You come in, you enjoy the grounds, you get to see the winter outside, you get to see the castle in all of its glory outside with the snow and the forest and the lights that are twinkling on the trees, fire guy. We've got crafts, we've got hot chocolate, we've got dinner for the kids. So, and then through the tunnels and over here to meet Santa again. So it's just a wonderful experience for everyone, day or night, casaloma.ca.
I love it so much. And speaking of Santa, do you think
you want to meet the guy in red?
I absolutely do. Let's go. We'll go meet Santa. I'm going to hop in here. Hi, Santa. Everybody watching on CTV. So, Santa, what is it like being here at Casa Loma?
It is wonderful being here at Casa Loma. I'm gonna be here right up until Christmas Eve. Kids of all ages come in to see me, take a picture, tell me what they want for Christmas. I had one special kid wanted a coffee maker, so so come and see me. I love kids of all age here at Casa Loma.
I have a question. Was she naughty or nice?
Well,
there's sunshine today. Lindsay and I worked really hard.
She's definitely just, you're nice today. The reindeer love you today.
Listen, I do what I can. And this all goes through till January 2nd. I know obviously Santa's very busy getting ready for Christmas Eve, but if people want to also feel a little bit generous, we're participating in the Chum CP24 Christmas Wish again.
We are, and we would really like all of our guests who come to bring an unwrapped, unused present for kids so that we can make sure that every kid gets something under the tree from Santa this year. There are plenty of marginalized communities out there. We all have to do just a very little bit to make sure that Christmas is special for every little one. In Casa Loma, we want to do our part.
Well, I love it. We're going to send things to break, and you're going to say Merry Christmas. Ready, Santa?
Oh, yes. Merry Christmas!
More news and weather after the break.
Well, the internet has been buzzing with reaction to some of the biggest stories of the week. Justin Trudeau making his relationship with Katy Perry official on social media. And just how long are the trips on the city's new LRT system? With more, with plenty of reaction to these stories, we're joined live by Sam East, host with 99.9 Virgin Radio for our weekly segment, Chronically Online. Happy Friday, Sam. Let's start with an issue dominating the comment sections right here in our city, the speed of the new Finch West LRT. What are people saying?
Well, it's not surprising that people have a lot to say about this, considering how many years we've been waiting for this. But if you look under any comment section on any social media platform talking about the Finch West LRT, well, you'll see that there are a lot of emotions. As we know, it's been very slow. Even the mayor herself addressed this, saying, yeah, we gotta do something about this. But on Reddit in particular, there's been a lot of comments, such as, even with it being fairly slow, I much prefer the LRT than the bus. I hate taking the bus with a passion. So there are some people who are okay with it. Someone said that's fair, but there's no reason the LRT can't be quicker. The public spent enough money on this project. There's no reason they should settle for a slower commute. Fair enough. Another person said, opening an above-ground LRT in the middle of winter, I expect nothing less. Okay, another fair point there. And another person saying, come on, guys, give it a break. It's an old system. You got to let the TTC and Metrolinx do their thing. So needless to say, everybody's got something to say about this, considering how long we've all been waiting.
And you know what they are? To be fair to the TTC, they're ramping things up. You know, it's going to take some time, and they say it will get faster, but we'll be watching to wait and see. Something that's speeding up a little bit, Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry, they've made their relationship Instagram official, I guess you can say. What is the general reaction to this unlikely pair?
Michelle, it's what they call the hard launch. You know it's real when they post about you on Instagram. And this was on Katy Perry's Instagram. She's got millions upon millions of followers. And she posted this video in particular that got so much reaction.
My first date.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Ooh, little lovebirds there. I've heard a lot of people say they didn't have that on their bingo card this year, but love is wonderful. I don't know, kind of happy for them.
I would agree. Let people be happy, whether you agree with the policies or are a fan of Katy Perry or not. They look to be very in love, but the comment sections do not disappoint. Honestly, I pull out my popcorn for these. The way he's looking at her. Yes. Okay, so there are some fans of this relationship for sure. And then other people saying, maybe different things, like cringing from Ontario right now. Yeah, okay, that might be something people are saying. Another comment that says, if they're happy, why not? Exactly. That's how I feel about this. Who cares? They're happy, they're in love, they're enjoying their lives. And one more comment here that says, I just need to know everything. I want a documentary on this. I agree. How did this come to be? How did this evolve into what it is today where they're traveling to Japan together? I don't know, Michelle, but I wish I could be a fly on the wall sometimes.
Maybe some more info will come out. Before we let you go, I want to get this out there. The Raps face the Knicks on Tuesday night at Scotiabank. Unfortunately, the Raptors lost, but you could say the city had a win with a really adorable fan having a fabulous time.
Oh my God, please look at this little cutie pie decked out in a Raptors jersey. Music starts playing at a timeout. Look at him go. He's just rocking it. No fear whatsoever. Look, he's going to give someone a fist bump right there. This is a moment that made headlines all over the world, and with good reason.
Ooh, yeah.
Look at this little cutie pie.
You know what? Some kids just have it, right? This kid feels the beat. He's also got the gear to go. Oh, yeah, do the head twist. Oh, win or lose. Yeah, I'm loving
This is the type of thing that'll play at his wedding or something in the future. It's adorable.
Most definitely. Sam East, it's been a slice. Thanks so much for being with us. You can catch her this afternoon on 99.9 Virgin Radio. Have a great weekend.
You too. Take care.
Coming up, meet the Canadian biathlete hoping to shoot her way to an Olympic spot, while also taking aim at inclusion in her sport.
A Canadian athlete is making big waves on the international stage, and not just for her performance.
As she races to represent Canada in the biathlon at the Olympic Games, Shiloh Russo is also aiming to make the sport more inclusive. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has her story.
This is a fantastic ski from Shiloh Russo.
Whenever Shiloh Russo puts on her Team Canada gear,
look at the lead that she has.
A wave of immense pride sweeps over her.
It becomes more than just about you. I feel like I'm representing my hometown and all the people who have supported me along the way.
This year, Russo came up with a way to share that love as she races for a spot on the Olympic team. A custom-made pistol grip with a rainbow flag to support the LGBTQ community.
I wanted to not only feel empowered myself, but bring visibility to the world stage and have others feel seen and feel safe to express who they are as well.
But initially, that sense of safety was violated. During a routine equipment check last weekend, race organizers at a World Cup event told her the flag went against their ad policy on political statements.
They said, in order to race, you need to cover up this symbol.
Biathlon Canada says Russo almost missed the race.
Didn't seem like this is a political statement at all. It's an expression of Shiloh's identity, and it seemed like an overreach by the local officials.
Biathlon Canada and Russo asked for a review. In the end, the International Biathlon Union conceded their rules were unclear, that the rainbow flag is not a political statement and can be displayed on gear in all future races.
It definitely took me by surprise and was quite upsetting, especially the day before the race, but My coaches and team had my back, and we made positive change happen.
The International Biathlon Union says it's hoping to recraft its policies. As for Russo, she says this experience has made her feel empowered and proud of who she is. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Great story and great skiing conditions, huh?
Yes, the ski season is underway in Ontario, and you know what's going to help this weekend? A little more snow. It's coming, and it begins overnight tonight in many cases, including for us here in the GTA. This is very light snow, but it will likely begin in the pre-dawn hours of Saturday. Our overnight low tonight is -5 degrees, but it's going to feel like -12. Here's tomorrow's high, -2. We're likely to experience that in the morning hours. We're actually going to fall to about -5 tomorrow afternoon. It's also going to be a windy Saturday, and then it's going to be a freezing cold Sunday. Daytime high of only -7 degrees, overnight low -14. And keep in mind, those are the core temperatures, not the wind chills. Look at next week, possibility of snow on Monday and some mixing on Wednesday with the high around 4 degrees, maybe even 6 by Thursday. Nathan and Michelle.
Right. Thanks, Lindsay. And that's it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6. Have a great afternoon.